Hello, crazy ones. Today we are taking a look at Elon Musk biography by Walter Isaacson. This is my second time listening to the biography, and I have three takeaways I'd like to share with you. One is idiot index, the second thing is Elon's algorithm, and third thing is wanting to do multiple companies at the same time. Let's start with the idiot index. The idiot index is basically saying, okay, you have the current average market price of a product and you have the cost of components and labor that goes into creating of that product. The difference between these two is essentially the idiot index. So for example, what does this mean? So for example, if you want to create bread, right? All you need is flour, water, and some yeast. If you create a loaf of bread, right, a loaf of toast bread, and do everything yourself, the whole thing might be $3, right? And if you go to the supermarket and the price of that is $6, you have a 2x idiot index, right? Let's assume that you pay yourself minimum wage for creating of the bread. The total cost of the loaf of bread for time consumed is like something like, let's say, $4.50. So you have a 1/3 of a price increase, or a 30% idiot index. But the thing that are the examples for you see in the book and in real life you see the examples many times is that the idiot indexes that we experience as consumers in the world is not just 30%. In some cases, in many cases, in many important cases, it's maybe 10x, 100x, and sometimes in very important industries like space, it could be 1,000x. So when you're trying to innovate in the industry and get rid of the red tape, these are things that you would take a look at to say, something off is going on and maybe there's room for innovation in a new product. The second thing, and this is a very important concept when you're thinking of opening a new business or looking at technologies and seeing breakthroughs in technologies and trying to come up with a new business line in a new industry. Okay, the second point, the algorithm. So in the book, they give a lot of examples of Elon saying this algorithm to his executive team and then the executive team to their employees in the Tesla, SpaceX companies as if it's gospel. And the algorithm is basically this. Whenever trying to do any type of project, you have 5 steps that must be followed in order to be as productive as possible. The steps are: first, question every single requirement, especially if it comes from a local CEO or smart person, quote unquote. Second step is to simplify steps. If you can condense steps into smaller numbers, then do so. Third step is to delete steps. Think really hard. If you can delete something, then delete it. If you are not basically bringing back stuff, that means that you're being too risk averse and you're not deleting enough. Essentially, you're being a coward. Always think of safety, but also don't be a coward. Fourth step is to reduce cycle time. So what does cycle time really mean? Let's say in order to make a pizza, you need to make 3 pizzas to get a good understanding of the oven, the type of stone that you're using, your sauce and cheese, and how much to put on each, right? The longer you take, right, in terms of time to make 3 pizzas, the longer is your learning curve and more time that you're wasting. Meaning that if you can, for example, buy 3 pizza stones, lay them on 3 layers in your oven, and you can make your 3 pizzas at once, you take 10 minutes to do your 3 learnings. But if you're operating on 1 pizza stone, then you're waiting 30 minutes to get that learning in, right? And in manufacturing and in business, there's many other things. Maybe you don't have to buy 3 pizza steels, but there's many creative things you can do to reduce the learning time in order to do something. And so that is an example of reducing cycle time. And last step is to automate, meaning that you have to go through 4 rigorous steps before you automate something. And if you don't do that, you end up wasting time and money. And Elon is a very big proponent of automating stuff. He wanted to automate the factories for Tesla Model 3, but he ran into a lot of issues, and he comes to the conclusion saying, okay, I automated way too much. All right. The last thing I wanted to highlight is the desire to want to do multiple companies. So somewhere in the mid 2000s, PayPal sells, and Elon gets about $150 million from this company. The next company he wants to work on is SpaceX. He meets a bunch of people that are interested in EV cars, and they have a design of a battery they want to use in the EV car, and he just supports them financially. But then he realizes that these people first are not really good operators, and he needs to be more active in the company in order to make this a success. And he wants to do this company, and he eventually does Tesla and SpaceX at the same time. And he has a lot of doubt within himself, saying that can I really do two companies? Maybe I'm setting up myself for failure. And that reminded me of when I listened to Steve Jobs' biography. We have an episode on that in the Endless Curiosity podcast. When I listened to that, Steve went through the same concept in 1990s where he was operating basically Pixar, um, Pixar Studios, and he was going back to Apple as well, and he wasn't sure if he can do both companies at the same time, but he ended up doing both because he cared about both. And Elon did the same thing, but the interesting thing is now Elon is doing not only two companies but many companies, right? And he basically broke the, you can call it, yeah, you can say he broke the stigma of you operating multiple companies and being successful and market leaders in it. Like Tesla is a market leader in EVs, SpaceX is a market leader in commercial space, and Elon definitely did it. So when you're starting out in business and entrepreneurship as well, you will have desires to do multiple things. If you're a person that care about, changing the world for the better, which is something that us crazy ones want to do, um, you will see many problems in the world, and eventually you're going to select very few and even one to focus on at a time. But it's normal to want to do multiple things. But at the same time, if you can do one thing, do one thing. If you see that you're caring about multiple things, just optimize your time to focus on multiple, and it's definitely possible because both Steve and Elon proves that it's possible. So those were the three takeaways from listening to Elon's biography for the second time. There's many more lessons to come, so definitely gonna listen to this biography multiple times in the future. I think there are very interesting lessons that one can take away with regards to risk from Elon's life. So probably more episodes on that in the future. See you in the next one.